Hey, are you ready for our bullish talk show? We got guests for days, all queuing in a row. The biggest names in the DeFi space. Black, white and yellow, guests from every race. So hands off your dick, it's now you're in luck. We're talking crypto daily with a big pump duck. Big duck energy, let's make banks fast. Come chill with us here on the Pondcast.
Yo, what's going on, mother duckers? It is Easy Zabo back here on the Pondcast. Today we've got a very special guest, another major influencer, YouTuber slash advisor for crypto projects, Cepryl. Cepryl, how's it going, man?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
It's awesome to have you, man. So we have been on a short hiatus here for the last couple of weeks due to the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, what have you. But couldn't be happier to be getting this podcast going again with someone who's been following the project since the start, you know. And when I came in and started investing and helping out the team and speaking for their projects, one of the first things I noticed was your posts on YouTube. And your outreach on YouTube and stuff. So it's absolutely awesome to have an OG influencer, original investor here in the space that really believes in the project.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that I've been pretty much from the start. I remember that somebody mentioned you guys in one of my live streams, and I was like, oh, this looks actually funny and original. And I think you were something like 150K, 200K market. I was like, all right, I'll take a look. Then I start buying, and then I see that you guys start exploding, and yeah, it's been a ride, and I think there's so much for you guys to come. So I'm very excited to obviously be an investor and see what your journey is going to look like along the way.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. No, so you got in on the early stages right before that run up to our all-time high of about 6 to 7 mil market cap, right?
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Beautiful. So you're still eating the green even with a little dip like right now, right? So
yeah.
That's got to be feeling good. Well, absolutely awesome to have you, man. On this space, we've had a lot of really amazing influencers and KOLs within the space, and you are no different than a lot of the other great people that we've had on this space. And really what we take time in during this space to do is to really get to know, you know, the man behind the PFP, if you will, and get a little bit of an understanding about, you know, how did you get your start into crypto?
Yeah, sure. So I started pretty much as a joke in end of 2017, beginning of 2018, somewhere around those lines. And at the time, I even thought the Bitcoin was a scam, and I thought that all the crypto industry wouldn't make it, etc. And as a joke, I started buying Bitcoin. I did decently also on Ethereum. And yeah, I basically started changing my mind over crypto when I started making some money that I also lost by not selling where I should have, because obviously it's the mistake that everybody makes in the previous bull cycles, right? And yeah, I just slowly started taking it from there. I realized how much money I could actually make, and I started making pretty much more than my normal career. That I had a career in marketing, very high-paying job, and I started really having a taste of what the money was into the Web3 space, and I was like, shit, I need to really move forward to this. And then I started my YouTube channel at the end of 2023. So not that long ago. It's just been little over 1 year. So I took notes of all those years that I spent, started trading, started doing some research and investing. I was like, there's still so much misinformation in the industry. There's so many people that just like talk just because they are paid, or they just, you know, they don't even do research when talking about projects. And so I just decided that I had to jump on that wave and have my saying on YouTube. And here we are, a little over 1 year, and just almost hit 21,000 subscribers. So I think it's doing quite well. And yeah, but I do see myself as just still getting started. There's a long way to go from what my goals, what I want them to be into the crypto space and the YouTube game, whether it's content creation or building my communities further. It's a lot of things that I still want to accomplish, but I remain very, very excited along the way. That's for sure.
So that's amazing. So really, you started with a marketing background. What did you do for marketing beforehand? I assume just based on your accent. I'm from America, so everybody kind of sounds the same here. But are you out east in Europe?
Italian.
Italian. Yeah, I like that. Definitely our first Italian that we've had out here on the space. Uh,
Italian, but I've also been living. I lived in the UK for 8 years, so
okay.
that's why those
Okay.
similar names
Awesome.
there.
So definitely had the
Yeah.
marketing background. So what stuck out to you to get on and start influencing on YouTube as your outlet? Was that just because, and I'm not saying that like YouTube isn't still big this cycle, but YouTube was really huge last cycle, with
Oh yeah.
most of the other affiliates and stuff. And most of, I guess, the big plays coming through a lot of different YouTube influencers last cycle. Is that kind of what got you started?
Yeah, I pretty much saw obviously the big influx of like YouTubers in the previous bull cycle. If you look at Altcoin Daily, BitBoy, like how big those channels like became during the bull cycle. And then obviously during the bear market, like you probably saw as well, like how views were decreasing, etc. So people were, in my opinion, in the look for some fresh air. And that's why pretty much I started my channel, because I thought that it was like the right moment, the right time. Like the best moment was maybe 4 years prior at the previous bull cycle, and the second best moment was probably now. There's never the perfect moment, but I think that the moment was good enough for me to start. I started also talking about Caspa. Caspa was starting to get a lot of traction, so that definitely served me quite well as well. And then I started moving more towards some gaming projects. I talked a lot about AI projects. I had an insane call with AI Tech that did a 50x like a couple weeks after that I called it. So that's also definitely helped me kick things off. Obviously, the last, I would say, 6 to 7 months have been very, very meme coin centric, just because obviously I just try to go where the attention span of people is.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Well, see, that I think that's pretty amazing, man. So, and obviously, a lot of your YouTube growth was all pretty much organic through the bear. So,
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not going to say it's easy to call projects in the bear, because if you really find a way to, spot the bottom, just about anything you call is going to really start to pump. But are you much of a technical analysis trader? Are you a charter? I mean, I've done some research in the background for a lot of your stuff, and I've checked out your website. By the way, if you're wondering about the gentleman here sitting across from me, go to Cepryl.com, CEPRYL.com, and you can take a look at his website, some of his offerings for different advisory roles within the crypto space. But how did you start your foray from YouTube into actually creating a private Discord and doing trading with other individuals?
So it was mainly a case of just like sharing my knowledge and the way that I did research and the way that I found alpha plays that I actually wanted people to make money. And I think that my main focus was actually starting by helping people make money. A lot of people just are in crypto for wrong reason, especially when it comes to private communities. That they're just greedy, or they just wanna that this is a easy way to make money. My outlook was always, I'm gonna give you my value first out of people, and then people are gonna judge if they want to stick around and actually give me money. But it needs to come from proper intrinsic value that I'm providing with the services. And from there it expanded a lot. Obviously there's been ups and downs with the number of members, etc., because as you know, like people will probably want to join when the market is extremely green, and they're probably gonna not stick around when the market is crap. So this is why the summer was a bit boring. Then it started becoming very excited again. Then the last couple of weeks boring again, and now it seems like today everything's exciting again, right? But it expanded a lot. From just, it started with like research on utility project, and obviously on trenches chat and all the things towards the middle of in between the two, let's say. But yeah, just a lot of stuff that keeps me still going and motivated on a daily basis, that's for sure.
How many people do you currently have in your Discord group?
Right now I think 350, something like that.
So that's a very large following. How active would you say that the majority of users are? And is it something where, you know, a lot of those users are kind of waiting for your signals, or you know, is everybody kind of out there working hard, fighting in the trenches, looking for good projects?
I would say that there's a mixture of both. Like, there's some people that are in my group that don't even look at the trenches, for instance. I would say that everybody's active, but some people are just there for like more safer type of plays, like buy old, forget about it. And then I would say that 80% of my group is constantly in the trenches. So it's not just about me posting a play. Like, there's some plays that are gonna be found by my members and are potentially equally as good. So this is also why I really want to make it a group and not just like, okay, this is Cepryl signal and that's it. Like, I really want to make it an alpha packed group. And this is also why I have collaborators. I have a group of people. I have two main guys alongside me that bring plays to the people and do the research. They help me with all the background research, etc., and the trading signals. But again, a lot of good things are also found by other members. And this is why I think that is so damn alpha packed in there.
And I mean, that's just amazing, because obviously, and I stress this a lot to a lot of people that are out in the crypto space that don't quite understand it, but there is a thriving market of opportunities in the crypto space for making money, for working with people, you know, helping and giving guidance. I don't want to say financial advising, because obviously that can get you into a whole nother level of trouble, but just providing guidance and holding people's hands, because there is so much opportunity in the market, but there is just as much opportunity to essentially lose everything. So as a crypto trader myself, and as somebody who has my own trading group, you know, kudos and hats off to you, because the amount of work that it takes to manage those groups can be very difficult and stuff. And especially with crypto being 24/7 and people being in today's market where they want everything right now, it can be difficult to satisfy your users. And from what I'm seeing on your website, it looks like you have pretty good raving reviews for the majority of people that use your space.
Yeah, that would be correct, sir.
So obviously really amazing and stuff that you're out there, you know, working within your Discord. And of course, I highly recommend that everybody jump in there to take a look at it, take a look at his website, see if it's something that interests you, because I think it could be a really good opportunity. What do you think? What do you do for technical analysis trading? Are you much of a trader, or are you more of a, you know, look in the trenches, find good project, find good devs? What would you say for the people listening today is your biggest secret to success that you won't charge $125 a month for?
That's a very interesting question. And I want to start by saying that I don't think I'm the best TA analyst in the world. I do know how to draw lines and triangles and wedges, but obviously I don't consider that my biggest strength. I think that you need some sort of TA, because you will be surprised even how much it owes, even for like very low market caps. Like, even if you look at 20K shitters on Pump.fun, there's still a very good use for TA. Like, prove me wrong if people disagree with this, but I still believe that. But I would say that the secret to all the good calls that I have is actually analyzing trends early and finding things before they are big, because it might sound like very broad as to say it, but you will be surprised into how much money is really made by getting into a narrative before it starts getting so damn hot. I mean, look at stuff like Peanut before it became big. Like, people made serious life-changing money, not because they knew how to read a chart or something like that, but if you actually look at real world events, what is going on. And for instance, what is going on right now, AI agents, a lot of people are talking about it. Like, we found Griffin in my group very early, for instance. That was one of the main ones, and we started analyzing the trends, and we found some very good plays in the space, because the narrative was not as big there in that specific moment. Now, is that Does that have so much room for growth? Potentially. I mean, I still think that AI is going to be big, but the point is, like, there's going to be a point that all these narratives come to a saturation and the attention span is extremely limited. Think about the previous bull cycle. That was just like a fraction of the quantity of projects that we have right now, like being Pump.fun, the culprit, or a variety of other things. And the thing is, all these things are gonna come to a saturation level and there's gonna be diminishing returns. But it's about finding what is gonna be the next big thing next. And if you're able to get early enough on a narrative, not necessarily one single project, or doesn't have to be necessarily the best project out there, but if you are early enough on a narrative, you're always gonna be the winner.
Well, I think that's really interesting that you said that. Obviously, something that we were talking about very briefly here in the back channels before starting the podcast was that right now the trend that you see, that you and your followers, as well as yourself, have been making pretty good money on, would be the artificial intelligence memes and the machine learning memes. And obviously, I've been hearing about AI meme plays for maybe, the better half of a month. And I've probably faded about 5 to 10 over that have gone and done, 20x, 50x, even 100x, some of them, right? I mean, if we think about A161Z, but like you said, all projects eventually, or really all narratives, all metas, if you will, eventually come to a saturation level where too many projects are launching that are trying to play off the mantra. Some of them might not even be true AI agents. And eventually you hit that saturation level where the money spreads too thin and people start taking profits and the meta dies. I mean, not to say that Peanut might not have a chance to come back, but ever since Peanut got the Binance listing, I think they've gone down upwards of 85 to 90% of their market cap value. So how quickly do you think, or in your way, because you are someone that essentially makes a lot of money off of recognizing trends before, the mass hysteria moves in, how long have you recognized that the metas and the trends last within Solana? Is it a couple weeks? Is it 1 month? Is there 2 to 3 weeks of build up, 2 to 3 weeks of pump? What have you seen in your experience?
Yeah, I don't think it's that easy to put just a label with a time, with an expiry date. I think that something can be as big as possible until the next big things come around. So let's say that Elon Musk posts a tweet, or what happened the last few days with knack. I mean, there could be the biggest narrative ever the week before, but if something like a catalyst event happens like that everybody starts talking about it, then the previous narrative is going to die off fast because all the liquidity is going to move towards those projects. And a lot of them are going to be raggers or whatever. But if you see, I'm not sure if you were tracking all the Kaku's Maximus stuff, but all of the projects that were being launched on Pump.fun, there was dozens of projects almost every single minute, just because of how big of a deal it was. And there's always going to be something next that is going to kill whatever's comes first, and it doesn't really matter so much on a time standpoint. Obviously things can go on forever, but I think that things are always going to be killed by the next narrative that takes all the attention out of the way.
It's interesting that you are finding these narratives by just analyzing the projects that are launching on Pump.fun and where everybody is kind of gravitating to. Like you said, yeah. You get this recognition that, hey, there's a new AI meme that's getting created every 10 seconds, 15 seconds, every minute. How much time would you say that you're spending on the trenches in Pump.fun? Because we've had a lot of people out here on the space that have had very differing opinions on the Pump.fun narrative.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I want to say that I'm at least on the Pump Vision tab of BullX at least 4 or 5 hours a day, which right now is pretty crazy, but I'm kind of fully locked in, and obviously I do this full time. But yeah, I would say easily several hours a day. I also do find that sometimes it's more productive for me to spend less time there, because sometimes the days that I actually put the most work into finding projects are the worst trading days for me, which is also a fun fact. But I would say several hours is what you need, especially if you're looking to navigate trenches and trade in and out of very, very small market caps.
Interesting. And obviously you're trading micro caps, not necessarily with the intention to hold the bonding, because obviously we know the percentage of projects that actually end up getting bonded is like 1 in 10,000, right?
Yeah. I mean, it really depends. Like my trading style is it also like very varies depending on what I'm feeling at the moment. Like there's sometimes that I just look at like graduated projects and see what has just recently bonded and try to buy dips, which I find it like way easier than just like chasing like the green candles or the things that are skyrocketing. I always try to, find the project I've graduated and then I've gone to shit before they bounce back. That is like one of my most favorite approaches if I'm doing that. But obviously, even trying to snipe all these new projects that are launching, basically, I can maybe follow some keywords that I can use to see. Like, let's say that today there was like a Chinese meta, so I started putting like some Chinese keywords into my trading bot, and I was like just filtering for all these things. So there's a lot of actions that people can take, but obviously I think that different market caps are gonna have different trading strategies, and usually the higher the risk into this trades, the sooner I'm also gonna take out my initial and gonna take some profits out because I'm not expecting too much out of them.
Well, something that you had mentioned, and maybe I just caught this or maybe I misheard this, but do you have a screener that you use to analyze Pump.fun rather than the actual database or the actual Pump.fun board?
Yeah, so I use BullX. That's the trading bot that I use for pretty much all my trades of the sort. And they also have released a new version, which is BullX Neo. And if people are looking to get access, I also can give you free access. Somebody needs to invite you. You can access it just like that. And people are going to be able to find it in pretty much all of my social media pages. But that has a big screener, as you were mentioning, that is called Neo Vision, or I don't know what it's called these days. But basically, it gives you 3 tabs of categories for meme coins. One for like the new launches, one for about to graduate, they call it, and then the graduated, which is the project that I bonded.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of filters that you can put. So you can filter for a bonding curve, and with the new version, you can even filter for like insider holding, snipers. Like it's crazy. Like the things that you can do with the interface of BullX is to me just unbelievable. It changed the game, the trading game forever for me.
Now, excuse me for questioning the spelling here, but did you say it's Flex, like Flex?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. My voice is also like shit today because I'm a bit sick. If you can tell.
It is that time of the year.
It's BullX, like bull.
BullX. Okay. Got it. BullX. I'm going to have to check that out. But something I heard that was interesting that you had said is that like you've got a knack for essentially after these projects bond, there's inevitably going to be like a really quick spike by sniper bots. And then oftentimes it's accompanied by a pretty significant dump. And what I've typically found is that these Pump.fun coins usually find a floor that coincides with the liquidity that was essentially launched with the bonding curve. And I've found that that's actually a really great buying point for a lot of these Pump.fun coins, where it's relatively low risk to throw maybe half a soul or 1 soul into a 10 to 15K market cap if it looks like it's not just fully dumping and whatnot.
Oh yeah, one of the things that I like doing sometimes if I'm bored, like if I see these graduated projects that go to like 100K or 120K and then they dump all straight to 10K, I can guarantee you that at least in 70% of cases they're gonna do a 2 or 3x before they die. So right. That is like way safer than just trying to buy a correction that went from like 100K to like 60K or something, because it's probably going to keep dumping if it's been dumping like that.
But we always keep a moon bag, right, people? We always keep a moon bag. You never know when it's going to be a peanut or one of these other coins that just seemingly just continues to go up. The narrative's so good. It is hard catching early narratives. I think everybody in here would probably be a millionaire if they could figure out how to catch early narratives. So one of the biggest things I think I keyed in on very early and stuff is that you do this crypto full time now, and And essentially you're making more money from this than you did in traditional finance. Now, let me ask you this. For the people that your friends that are not in crypto, what do they think about your lifestyle?
Most people just don't get it. And I also like, I have most of my friends are really not in crypto. Like, my best friend happens to do the same thing that I do, and he's one of the guys in my community, one of the other two callers. But other than that, I would say that the majority of my friends are really not in crypto, or they still think that I'm a scam, that everything is a scam surrounding crypto. And even my parents had a lot of trouble understanding that when I said I'm going full time in this and gonna do great. And I was like, what? But it's just like people that just don't get it. There's still like so much misinformation about crypto, so many people that still don't understand how it works. And I want to say that it's a very complicated space for some people to agree. It's one thing to maybe learn how to unramp some fiat on Coinbase, and then it's another thing to use a trading bot and trade Solana shitters that can go to zero in a split second. So yeah, I think that there's still a lot of room for improvement for like public knowledge about some things that could be considered niche as trading meme coins to this extent, and to stuff that is now maybe like Doge or Peanut. But yeah, I just think that a lot of people in my life just don't understand because they're not so crypto savvy.
And I don't even know if it's necessarily about being crypto savvy. I think to an extent it's about being tech savvy, and I think
Yeah.
at the core of it, you got to have a really good understanding of Bitcoin, its intrinsic value, and what it really means and what crypto means for changing the financial world. What do you
Yeah, no,
what do you think about Bitcoin's outlook for the next year? Obviously, we've got Trump and a very pro crypto administration joining in from the U.S. front here in a matter of 17 days when Trump comes into office. And obviously rumors are out there that one of his big first 100-day initiatives is going to be to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What do you think that's going to do for the space?
I mean, I think that all the signs point towards a very bullish year and big growth for Bitcoin and for the entire crypto ecosystems. So I remain extremely bullish. I am bullish on Bitcoin. I hold very little Bitcoin in this very moment, to be completely honest. I went pretty much almost all in on my alts, and obviously we're discussing a lot about memes here, but the majority of my money is not really on memes. It's on projects like Sui, Solana, Ethereum, etc.
Blue chips, blue chip vaults, right? That's what I like.
Exactly. Like some people might say, "Oh, this guy has only like his whole portfolio into shit." No, I don't. But that's obviously what I trade on a daily basis. But yeah, I remain very bullish on Bitcoin. I do plan on buying very, very heavy on Bitcoin in the next actual bear market, which I don't think is coming anytime soon for how this year is looking. And institutional adoptions and ETFs and Michael Saylor keeps buying, and Trump is pro crypto. Like there's so many good things for the entire crypto space, and especially for Bitcoin and as an alternative to the scam of fiat and inflation, etc. Like there's still so much room for growth for Bitcoin even this year and this current bull cycle.
And obviously from a Bitcoin perspective, considering we had a floor basically sub 20K, we're already sitting on a 5X with the opportunity to only really go a little bit higher, with most people targeting, I think, anywhere from 150 to 200, 225K this cycle. So really from a risk reward standpoint, you can sit on Bitcoin and maybe 100 extra money. And that's probably pretty close to, not a guarantee, but it's a pretty high probability chance. Or you can start transitioning your money into blue chip altcoins with, at least some distribution into meme coins, because at the end of the day, when those meme coins pop off, having that distribution back into those blue chips is great. And I really still don't think that we've seen the altcoin market explode like we're really expecting. I mean, ETH is still getting stymied, still sitting below its all-time high. A lot of other alts are still sitting below their all-time high. I know, like you said, Sui is having a hell of a time right now, but I could say that probably the big reason that Sui is being so successful is because there's not a whole lot of market congestion on there. There isn't really a big Pump.fun narrative. There's only a few good memes on the Sui chain.
Yeah, Sui, I'm so freaking bullish on it. I think it might actually be my biggest allocation right now in my portfolio.
It's my biggest allocation right now.
Yeah.
We got some Sui maxis up here in the space. So for a lot of you Soul listeners and stuff out there, like if you haven't given Sui a sniff, definitely check it out, right?
Yeah, I can tell you that the best trade probably that I did last year was I sold 70% of my Solana, and I bought Sui with that when it was pretty much $1. I mean, if you look at it right now, it's a 5x.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you did that last year. Now let me ask you this. Obviously, Sui, it's a big coin, but not BlackRock, but Grayscale launched their own Sui trust. Was it, I think, back in August or September of last year when it was like 50 cents, and obviously Solana's been in a big downtrend ever since that point. So, what do you think about the initiative with Phantom looking to launch a Sui wallet soon?
Oh yeah, I was actually gonna mention that. Like, that is so freaking bullish. I mean, it's gonna be integrated. So, like they did with Base, for instance, they're gonna do the same with Sui. And oh man, like I think that very good things are gonna come. If you think about how much easier it's gonna be for people to trade meme coins, to just have exposure to how good Sui is. Like, if you ever tried to just send money or trade meme coins, etc., like the only bad thing is, in my opinion, like I don't really like the dexes all too much, all the Sui ecosystem. But if it gets more integrated with like trading bots and obviously with a very good wallet such as Phantom, like it's gonna be so damn bullish.
Agreed. I think the Phantom integration is going to have a lot of people looking further and deeper into that blockchain. I see some comments out in the chat from Carlito saying that they think Sui isn't a good buy at like $5 here. But it's when we look, Solana was sitting below $5-10 billion market cap and shot up to, I think, over 100 billion market cap at one point through this cycle, a solid 10x. Sui is still sitting, I think, right around 15-16 billion market cap, and it's in a top 20 coin. So, I mean, there's still a lot of prospect for the fact that it could join the top 10, considering how cheap the transactions are, how uncongested the chain is. And like I said, there's only a few good memes, good projects on that chain currently right now.
Yeah.
Where in a lot of different ways, it's going to be a really great, I think it's going to, I'm hoping in a lot of ways that it might take liquidity from Solana and really end the Pump.fun game. What I would really like to see for the Solana chain, I think the best thing that could happen for the Solana space would be to end the Pump.fun hysteria and give the power back to the devs. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that I see it as a double-edged sword, because if we hadn't had Pump.fun, like things would have still been so mysterious for the majority of people, and in my opinion, we would have seen even more scams than what we have right now. Because if you think about it, like before Pump.fun, a lot of like custom culture addresses, a lot of like bullshit in the contracts. At least Pump.fun made it fair to some certain extent. Obviously, there's still a bunch of scams that are there. 99% of projects launch their rug within 1 minute, but I still think that it gave power to the people in some sort of way without having to just have any sort of technical knowledge to launch a smart contract. I think it's actually made it quite easy. Obviously, there's also there's too much stuff around effect that Pump.fun created, and also some people that shouldn't have been able to launch projects were able to do it, and that also attracted a lot of bad actors to the scene. So I do see pros and cons with both takes,
Right, and I love this. Once again, Carlito speaking up from the comments section, stating about how your recommendation to use BullX can ultimately help avoid scams and help you make sure that you're grabbing good tickers on that Pump.fun and whatnot. So
yeah, if anyone is interested, I've actually filmed a tutorial of the new version of BullX. It's called BullX Neo. You can see it on my channel. I posted it like 3 days ago or something.
your YouTube
And
channel?
yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And I think we've mentioned your website out here as well. But for the people that have checked out the website here today for Cepryl, you make sure that you also get out there on YouTube, follow Cepryl, follow his video, follow his alpha, because obviously a very intellectual man, really savvy in the space at finding early narratives, and a little bit of a hidden gem in a lot of the different projects that he finds that end up going and making some really great returns. So highly recommend that you follow YouTube. And if you're not following Doug the Duck on YouTube, I don't know what you're doing at this point or how you even found us, but make sure you check out and give Doug the Duck a YouTube visit as well. We've got a lot of amazing things that have happened over the last month. And since, due to the holidays, we've been pushing off the Pondcast. I'd like to share a couple things with you and kind of maybe see what your take is about some of the things that our team is working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
One of the big things that we did here really recently in the past week is we had a live event where we had a Doug the Duck mascot show up to a very prominent currency speaking space really recently. So it's kind of interesting because I haven't really seen a lot of projects do the mascot thing. And to me, like, Doug the Duck is a character that you really could envision in the space. And hats off to our developers that created the suit, because I think it really embodied the Doug the Duck mantra, and he had the duck off hat and everything.
Yeah, fucking cool.
But recently we also had if you didn't know, a lot of our developers, they're Eastern European. So one of the funny things that we recently did as well is we had a partnership with a famous Serbian porn actor who really fits the Doug the Duck narrative perfectly. And the connection with this prominent person in the Eastern European space actually resulted in about 500,000 views on social media. Once again, tying us back to that Doug the Duck mascot as well. So kind of interesting and kind of funny, different take once again that I think a lot of teams aren't necessarily doing. I think it really, once again, kind of fits with our degen duck narrative as well.
I gotta say, I didn't see that coming.
Well, expect the craziness, right? I mean, those are two things that are very different for the space. I mean, our developers are still getting out there and they're finding new ways to find outreach, because I think in Memecoins, you got to stay consistent. You got to continue to find ways to get outreach to new investors and new people and people that are going to enjoy the Doug the Duck narrative.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree.
But a couple other things that we've got going this week is Doug is going to be featured on a New York Times Square billboard tomorrow. So this, I think, is now our third time that we have been featured within Times Square. And we're reaching out with a really good success rate to people in our region who are supporting Doug, within kind of the Eastern European space right now. And it really is starting to become, I think, one of the better known meme coins in the region. So I think you're starting to see once again, going back to the Doug the Duck mascot actually putting a face to this meme coin and bringing this meme coin to life. I think has really done a lot for, bringing additional investors in and hyping up the space here in the Eastern European space. But shortly before New Year, we did a live feed connect with on Telegram with a lot of our different investors. And the promise by the devs is that they are looking to get some smaller centralized exchange listings set up here within the short-term space to look to bring in more volume to the project, more additional viewership for people. I think there's a lot of people out there that think that if you're not getting centralized exchanges, then you're not necessarily working for the project. And I know that there's probably differing opinions regarding that, but I mean, what's your overall feeling with, getting centralized exchanges? Is it something that's necessary for a project to be successful?
I want to say ultimately yes, but it really depends on the stage. I've seen projects even without centralized exchanges go to like millions and millions. I've been working very close with another meme coin in the space, Fleabone. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but they achieved 12 million with like some few god candles. They weren't listed on any centralized exchanges. So I just don't see it as a requirement to really feed at the beginning. And also I'm also the idea that at the beginning of a project or when the market cap is so low, they do more harm than good. So first of all, obviously, like the expenses, and some exchanges ask even for parts of the supply. Like it's in my opinion, if the stage is very early of a meme coin, it's just more harm than good. But ultimately, it's what's needed for the next big step to really make, first of all, ensure to the community that the project is serious enough, but also to obviously appeal to new investors and drive a volume, number of holders, etc. But I do think that the foundation, the creation of like a community, and to really make a meme coin a cult, which is pretty much the objective that meme coins should have to make it a cycle, that is done way, way before centralized exchanges, in my opinion.
Beauty. Well, I think we've got a lot of really amazing stuff coming out, a lot of great content. Our YouTube has recently hit up to, I want to say, 55,000 followers. So we continue, along with a lot of the content that we've been putting out, continue to get closer and closer to that YouTube monetization level, where you can actually start kind of gaining income from the videos, the views, and the advertisements that you get as part of the space. Now, as someone that's been in the YouTube game for upwards of 5 to 7 years, have you been able to take advantage of the YouTube monetization?
I can tell you how much I make on YouTube, to be honest, because it's extremely laughable. Like it's something like $500 a month.
Okay. And yeah. I mean, that's totally fine. Hey, money and income is income, right? I mean,
yeah,
a diverse entrepreneur like yourself, and for people that want to make it in the space, there's got to be multiple streams of income. And those opportunities are out there in a lot of different ways within the crypto space. That's why I love the decentralized space and the opportunities that it brings.
Yeah, no. I mean, at the end of the day, if I didn't have YouTube, I wouldn't have this big vehicle to actually feed all my sources of revenue. So in one way, yes, I'm making money through YouTube. But if I think about like AdSense directly, it's literally pocket money. Pays my bills.
Well, we've been going here about 45 minutes. We're looking to kind of sign off here pretty soon. Wanted to see if there was any final comments that you had, or if you wanted to shill a little bit about your war room or your YouTube page, man. Free opportunity right here.
So first of all, I want to take again the chance of like thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna tune in for the next episode as well. I'm gonna check them out, and I'm glad that you're back with the podcast. And when it comes to my page, as I said, I don't want to shill it too much, but obviously, if you go on my website, you're gonna see all of the links. So the website is Cepryl.com. And obviously, YouTube is my main platform. I'm also on X. I have a free Telegram channel, but obviously the real alpha is going to be into my private group that you can access through my website. And yeah, pretty much everything is explained there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Enough for the shill.
Well, I appreciate the shill, man, because I think you've provided a lot of really great alpha here today and opportunities. One of the biggest that I think people should bring, that I'm going to go and investigate myself, is connecting through to BullX and
Oh yeah.
Looking at that opportunity for Pump.fun screeners and seeing if maybe we can catch that next 5 to 10x. But
yeah, 100%. If you go on my X profile, I actually have it linked. I have linked like the access link in my bio on X, so you can find it there.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely make sure to check out the video tutorial that I've done a few days ago, because I dropped so much out. It's like a 30-minute video, and it's such a shame that those videos don't really perform that good. But when people find them, they're like, "Oh shit, like this is the real alpha on YouTube," you know.
Well, it's sometimes I think a lot of that goes into the algorithm. It doesn't necessarily mean that what you're providing for information to the space isn't valuable. Sometimes the hidden gems provide the best overall value, the best clarity, the best scaling, right? So in a lot of different ways, I appreciate what you do, because being on that YouTube grind, that influencer grind, it's definitely difficult. It takes time to come up with fresh content. It's not easy. So kudos to you and hats off to you, because you've been doing this for the better part of half a decade. And a lot of people burn out, and a lot of people, don't make it that far. So it's really exciting for me, as well as really exciting for, I think, a lot of people that are listening here today, to see and recognize that opportunity that, if you want to make crypto your full-time job, the opportunity is there. Look no further than a successful person such as our Italian Mr. Cepryl.
Yeah, and I even want to say, like, there's more opportunities than ever on YouTube. You just gotta have a saying and be a little different in your approach. Otherwise, you're just gonna, blend in with like everyone else. But there's so much opportunity. So I would encourage everyone to really start their journey if they really want to do that as a creator, or to keep going as a trader or whatever. But crypto definitely has got something for everyone, that's for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I really appreciate having you here on the space today, Cepryl. It's been absolutely amazing. We're happy that you've been with us in our community for so long. Obviously, Doug's on a little bit of a dip right now, but devs and team are still here working hard on the project, finding new ways to get the outreach, finding new content, original artists every single day. So we're looking to continue that grind, and I think there's no better time to give Doug the Duck a shot and have it in your portfolio. For all you listeners out there today, and potentially all your Cepryl followers, great opportunities ahead, and obviously we're still super early in this bull cycle. There's still a lot of profits and a lot of gains to be had. So
completely agree.
I really appreciate having you here on the space today, man, and we'll look to continue to see you here in the Telegram channels and on YouTube.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Now, with that being said, you mother ducker.
Hey, are you ready for our bullish talk show? We got guests for days, all queuing in a row. The biggest names in the DeFi space. Black, white, and yellow, guests from every race. So hands off your dick, it's now you're in love. We're talking crypto daily with a big pump Doug. Big duck energy, let's make banks fast. Come chill with us here on the Pondcast.